I got a question here. Many people wonder why Dr. Naledi Pandor elected South Africa's legal team to approach the ICJ on behalf of Palestine.
So I think she's been one of the biggest supporters and proponents, and rightly so, of action with regards to this thing. I think a lot of people posturize. I think a lot of people will make statements that never lead anywhere. So what she has done is that she has actually used her many years of experience and understanding of international relations to say there is a way that we can hold Israel accountable for this, or at least start the wheels to turn to get accountability. Because it's very interesting that there's a chess game going on here, right? So what South Africa has put forward, let us say it goes positive for South Africa. Mm-hmm. What must happen is that the court will then have to rule and say to Israel, you need to stop what you're doing. You're contravening the genocide convention, the convention that's been set forward as part of the UN, right? And you need to stop what you're doing. And then it becomes enforceable by all the members of the UN. That's the other thing. So that's one. A lot of people are saying they're going to continue either way. But what that suddenly starts to do, remember, Israel is really big on communication, propaganda, disinformation that leads them to look in a positive light. They do that really well, right? If we're going to talk about countries that know how to use the media, it's them, right? This very week, if you Googled South Africa ICJ or ICJ Israel, it took you to a website that had other unverified information. They're good at what they do. So what Dr. Naledi Pandor and Minister did was that they wanted to firstly start to find a way where we could get some semblance of a conversation being held in the right spaces. Mm-hmm. We were always talking bilaterally, right, as groupings of countries, etc. We've now taken it to the courts, and we need to have that discussion there. And for whatever it means, politics, a lot of people feel politics might win still, right? And what I mean by that is that Israel has the biggest backing as the backing of the biggest bully, which is the US. And everybody knows it. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to put pressure on the bigger brother, right? And then some people say this is the inverse. They say Israel's actually running America, right? Because a few well-placed people, you can run a country. And that's what a lot of people say. The inverse, the other side of it, is if...
You're talking about the Jews now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. The other side is that, but there's so many like differentiations I want to make of that, and I'll come back to that, right? Because there are people that are from Israel, right, that don't support this. There are people from Israel that support this. There are people that are Zionists that don't live in Israel, but there's also, so it's various, right? The other side of it is if they say no to what South Africa has proposed, and they say South Africa's what South Africa's put forward has no legal basis, they lose face. The court, the ICJ and the UN loses face in front of the global public. So either way, South Africa wins something here, right? So we might feel like we've lost, but look at the discourse. Look at how people around South Africa and globally have banded together. If you just search South Africa, bro, people are like, wow, we actually didn't think about it. South Africa, Ireland, and 900 to 1,000 other partners, right, have basically said that we'll take it upon ourselves to say that this is wrong. Now, let's put it to a judge or judges, and then let's have that discussion.
But why us, bro? Why couldn't Palestine approach the ICJ themselves?
So...
Or the Muslim country, or a lot of these Muslim countries, the Arab countries.
Arab League. It's tricky, bro. And it all has to do with geopolitics. To understand this thing quite well is to understand that Israel is seen as an occupying power on Palestinian land. This is quite important. The context that everybody always says, when you talk to somebody who is pro-Israel, they'll say certain words. You don't understand. This is a complex issue. And they always try to make it seem deeper than what it is. It's a very simple issue, right? And it starts way before. People lived on that land. Palestinians lived on that land. There are maps from 1940s that show this was Palestine and not Israel. This is clear. I'm not making this up. So before that, you then find, by the way, every single border dispute in the world is likely connected to the British.
Hmm.
Whether we're talking Pakistan, India, whether we're talking India, Bangladesh, most border disputes, the water rights in the Nile, Ethiopia and Egypt and Sudan and South Sudan, British. Most borders across this planet, if there's a dispute over a borderline, it's likely the British. So the Balfour Declaration in 1917, they basically, Lord Rothschild wrote to the minister at the time, I think the prime minister, and then basically said they need land, right? The Jews need land. Now this was around the First World War. By the Second World War, what happened with Hitler and the Holocaust, they were like, nah, we need to send more people there. It's safer there. But it also then became a strategic place for them to have a certain type of population living within to balance out the Arab and the Muslim populations that live there. So Israel serves a strategic positioning for the people that want Israel to exist.
Yes.
What does that leave us and our relationship with the US? Because it's a very important relationship, as much as some of us don't really like it.
Yeah.
And like you said, the biggest backer
Amen. I like it.